Childhoods in the 1970s and 1980s were influenced by Little House on the Prairie, which filled living rooms with well-known characters and frontier tales. Many of the actors have vanished or are hardly identifiable after decades. One is notable for a very different reason. The actor who portrayed Albert Ingalls, Matthew Laborto, has aged unexpectedly. He is in his 70s now and doesn't appear like the fan he once was. He is not alone, either. What became of the remaining members of the cast? Matthew became a member of the adored cast during the 8th season of the show after joining it in the late 1970s. His character dealt with tragic plotlines, such as family issues and addiction struggles, and gained popularity due to his complexity and fortitude. Matt remained active in the entertainment industry after the conclusion of Little House. He kept up his acting career in the 1980s, making cameos in movies like Wes Craven's Deadly Friend and guest starring on hit shows like Night Court and The Love Boat. However, when he grew older, his profession unexpectedly changed to voice acting. He established a second act behind the microphone starting in the mid-1990s, bringing video game roles and animated characters to life. Jaden Yuki in the English dub of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX from 2005 to 2008 was one of his most well-known parts at this time. He gained a whole new fan base as a result of this role. Very different than Walnut Grove, yet just as fervent. In video games like Yu-Gi-Oh!, he even played the role again. Dual links, pleasing devoted series viewers. Matthew has kept his personal life quiet outside of the spotlight. In July 2020, he tied the knot with Leslie and is now a stepfather to her 2 kids while juggling his continued career in entertainment. He wants to utilize his position for good, so he and his brother Patrick co-founded the Youth Rescue Fund, a charity that helps young people in need. Fans now frequently comment on how amazing Matthew looks at his age. He may be in his late 50s, but he still has a youthful appearance, and many people claim that he still resembles the person he was on the show decades ago. He continues to be praised at conventions, autograph signings, and fan events, and many people are impressed by how nicely he has aged. Thus, in his 50s, Albert from Little House on the Prairie does indeed look lovely. However, he is not alone in accomplishing remarkable feats following the performance. Sadly, the next actor, who was the show's heart and soul, died. Michael Landon. One of the most enduring personalities on television is still Michael Landon. Adored for his kindness, diligence, and originality. Landon was the show's main character and creative force, most recognized for his role as Charles Paulus on Little House. The show, which lasted from 1974 to 1983 and was based on Laura Ingalls Wilder's classic novels, featured Landon as executive producer, director, and writer on numerous episodes in addition to being the center of the Ingalls family. This made sure that the movie's themes of family, faith, and tenacity struck a deep chord with audiences. Landon had already achieved popularity as Little Joe Cartwright on the long-running Western Bonanza, which ran from 1959 to 1973, before Little House made him a household figure. Thus, he was already a dependable and captivating figure on TV. Landon didn't slow down as Little House came to an end. He produced, starred in, and directed Highway to Heaven, another significant series, in 1984. He portrayed Jonathan Smith, a sympathetic probationary angel sent to Earth to aid those in need, in that program. The show, which ran for 5 seasons until 1989, carried on Landon's tradition of creating inspirational, morally grounded stories, music, that resonated with viewers across the country. Sadly, Landon received a pancreatic cancer diagnosis on April 5, 1991. Before he died on July 1, 1991, he bravely shared his illness and spread the word about the terrible illness. The next Little House celebrity was well known and continues to rule today. Melissa Gilbert. From 1974 to 1983, Melissa Gilbert played Laura Ingalls Wilder on the popular NBC series Little House, a role that made her a household figure. Her career was defined at a very young age by Gilbert's performance, which won over millions of spectators. She was the brave and vivacious daughter of Charles and Caroline Less. Acting was not the only thing Gilbert did after Little House. Her election as president of the Screen Actors Guild in 2001 was a significant accomplishment that demonstrated her standing as a prominent figure in the field. She represented the interests of actresses in Hollywood in that capacity until 2005. In 2009, she published her first autobiography, Prairie, music, tale. She openly shared her memories of her upbringing in the spotlight, her battles with addiction and self-esteem, and her path to self-acceptance. Music, she later published My Prairie Cookbook, a collection of recipes and recollections. She also reflected on her life during the epidemic in her 2022 book Back to the Prairie, A Home Remade, A Life, Music, Found. Apart from her artistic endeavors, Gilbert also dabbled in politics. In 2016, she even entered the Michigan congressional race, but she ultimately dropped out due to a spinal injury. She is heavily interested in activism, particularly for the welfare and health of children. Gilbert is still alive and developing as of 2025. She made a comeback to television with a cameo on Hallmark's When Calls the Heart. She also still performs on stage and in music, notably in off-Broadway shows like Still. She co-founded Modern Prairie, a women's lifestyle business that aims to inspire seasoned women undergoing life transitions, and she and her husband, actor Timothy Busfield, reside in upstate New York. Gracefully, Karen. As Carolina Mays on Little House in the 1970s and early 1980s, Karen Gracefully rose to fame on television. She gained worldwide praise for her portrayal of the steady, caring mother and wife who sustained the emotional center of the Ingalls family for more than 180 episodes of the show. The show's themes, resilience, family unity, and pioneer fortitude, were heavily influenced by Caroline's character. Because of this, her acting stands out as one of the most memorable elements of the protracted drama. Following the conclusion of Little House in 1983, Gracefully expanded her artistic endeavors and went back to her theatrical origins. She wrote for feature films including Wyatt Earp and My Greatest Teacher, and she made cameo appearances on TV shows like Murder and The Love Boat. Over the years, she has stayed committed to theater. Music, she continued to appear in regional and touring shows after moving to the San Francisco Bay Area, playing difficult parts in popular plays like Driving Miss Daisy. She was able to demonstrate her abilities outside of the Ma Ingalls persona in roles such as these. Bright Lights, Prairie Dust, Reflections of Life, Loss, and Love from Little House's Ma, Gracefully's forthright memoir, was released in 2021. This provided some behind-the-scenes glimpses into her personal and professional issues, as well as her life off-set. R. Grimm, Allison. Allison Margaret R. Grimm, who played Nellie Olson on Little House and became one of the most memorable villains on television, is another Little House star that is still in the spotlight today. She played Laura Ingalls' pampered, cunning opponent. Her portrayal as Walnut Grove's mean girl Nellie established her as a cultural icon and contributed to the development of the spoiled antagonist character archetype in music, television during the 1970s. Although Nellie's acting was so captivating that it became one of the most remembered aspects of the series, audiences detested her on TV. Following the show's conclusion, R. Grimm continued to act, making appearances in a number of TV shows and motion pictures, including Make the Yuletide Gay, Fantasy Island, I Married Wyatt Earp, and The Love Boat. Although she put a lot of effort into overcoming the cruel girl persona, R. Grimm also made some significant progress off-screen. She became heavily involved in AIDS awareness and activism after her close friend and co-star Steve Tracy, music, who played Nellie's husband, Perkel Dalton, passed away in 1986 due to complications from HIV/AIDS. Long before the disease was well established, she worked on hotlines, talked in public about safer education, volunteered with AIDS Project Los Angeles, and assisted in raising money and awareness at events for people living with HIV. Additionally, Arjun used her personal experiences, such as surviving childhood sexual abuse, to drive her activism. She has served as a spokeswoman for child protection, collaborating with groups like Protect to advance awareness of abuse prevention and legislative action. R. Grimm is still active today and resides in Los Angeles with her spouse, musician Robert Paul Schunover. She broadcasts the Allison R. Grimm Show podcast, does stand-up and storytelling performances, attends fan conventions, and interacts with fans on social media. During their time on the show, the next stars were quite young, and they now lead happy lives. Lindsay Greenbush in Sydney. The character of Carrie Ingalls on Little House was played by identical twin sisters Sydney and Lindsay Greenbush. They took turns playing Charles and Caroline Ingalls' youngest daughter starting at age 3, adding a charming innocence to the family dynamic. Audiences liked them because of this. Curiously, they were constructed together as Lindsay Sydney Greenbush in the show's opening credits, leading many viewers to believe that Carrie was portrayed by a single actor. Outside of television, they pursued different and rewarding careers in music as adults. Lindsay chose to live a modest life out of the spotlight after earning a degree in accounting. She then worked as a horse trainer because she had a strong affinity for horses. She continued to be involved with the Little House community by going to fan events and reunions. Sydney, meantime, continued to follow her passion for equestrian sports by participating in professional rodeo as a member of the Women's Professional Rodeo Association and raising and training American quarter horses. Sydney has also experimented with artistic endeavors, such as starting a line of designer jewelry and using her information technology expertise to contribute to music. In contrast to the pristine world of the Ingalls family, her portrayal of Harriet, who was initially intended to be a minor character, brought her to life with such comedic flair, music, that she became a series regular, appearing in all 9 seasons from 1974 to 1983. Harriet is one of the most memorable love-to-hate characters on television because of McGregor's ability to combine sardonic humor with vulnerable moments. McGregor had a lengthy and devoted acting career in theater, movies, and early television prior to Little House. She developed her skills on Broadway and in touring companies after receiving training at Northwestern University and the University of Denver. She has had appearances in TV series and short films, including guest turns on Ironside and All in the Family and an uncredited scene in On the Waterfront. McGregor mostly stopped performing on screen when Little House finished in 1983. She decided to withdraw from film and television rather than pursue more mainstream parts, despite being adored for her on-screen presence. After the intensive labor on the series, she was emotionally and physically exhausted. Rather, she went back to her theatrical origins and focused on teaching and working in small theaters. She joined the We Hollywood Vanta Players, a children's acting organization affiliated with the Vanta Society, and used her skills to coach young actors. She was on a pilgrimage in India, so she didn't make an appearance in the Little House television films that came after the show ended, but she stayed in touch with her co-stars. Music: she tragically died at the Motion Picture and Television Fund retirement community in California on November 13, 2018, at the age of 93. Gilbert, Jonathan. The public is largely unaware of our next Little House star. American former child actor Jonathan J. Gilbert is most recognized for playing Willie Olson in the television show. Jonathan is one of the few actors who starred throughout the whole 1974 to 1983 season of the show, and Willie was Nellie Olson's mischievous younger brother. Willie was a memorable component of the show's young energy and comic relief because of his on-screen antics, which sometimes caused havoc in Walnut Grove. Jonathan's most notable acting role was in Little House, although he also starred in the television series reunion films Little House, Look Back to Yesterday and Little House, The Last Farewell, as well as the 1979 TV film The Miracle Worker. But instead of pursuing a long-term Hollywood career, Gilbert decided to give up acting once the series ended. Jonathan distanced himself from his family's prominent life and the entertainment business in his late teens. His sister Melissa Gilbert's 2009 biography, Prairie, claims that after turning 18, he severed all ties to the family and essentially vanished from their life for a long time. After leaving the entertainment industry, Gilbert went on to study and work in other fields. According to reports, he obtained an MBA and worked as a stock trader in New York City, establishing a prosperous financial career for a while away from the limelight of Hollywood. Additionally, he demonstrated an interest in experiences outside of the corporate sphere by traveling the world and participating in philanthropic endeavors in South America and Africa. He made his first significant appearance in decades in 2024 when he returned for the Little House 50th anniversary celebration in Simi Valley. He lives a secluded life away from Hollywood and is still mostly out of the spotlight now. Bull, Richard. After the play, many people took notice of Richard William Bull, another Little House star. Long before he appeared on the show as Nell Zolan, the seasoned American actor was already well liked by viewers. Before starting a career that would last more than 50 years, Bull received his creative training in drama at the Goodman Theater in Chicago. Long before Little House came around, he established himself as a dependable character actor in both cinema and television thanks to his early work in stage shows and television parts. He played Nels Olson on Little House, Harriet Olson's patient husband and the mild-mannered shopkeeper of Ollison's Mercantile. Nels was cool, collected, and intelligent, whereas Harriet was boisterous, brazen, and domineering. Their family dynamic was made cozier and funnier by this subtle variance. Bull did not retire once. The 9-year run of Little House on the Prairie came to an end. He kept performing in movies and television shows, including ER, Designing Women, Hill Street Blues, and Knots Landing. He also had an appearance on Highway to Heaven alongside Michael Landon and Victor French, reuniting with his former Little House co-stars. In addition to working on films, Richard and his spouse, fellow actress Barbara Colentine, whom he wed in 1948, continued to be involved in the acting community and occasionally returned to the stage. Music. In his later years, the pair relocated to the Motion Picture and Television Fund retirement home in California, following stints in Los Angeles and Chicago. Richard Bull died of pneumonia-related complications on February 3, 2014, at the age of 89. His lengthy career is evidence of his talent and commitment as a character actor, and his depiction of Nels Allison continues to be a beloved aspect of Little House on the Prairie's timeless appeal. French Victor. Victor French, an American television actor and director best known to fans as Isaiah Edwards, is one Little House star whom many have been missing for a while. He was Charles' music, Les's tough, rustic, and devoted friend. At first glance, Edwards' rugged look suggested a stereotypical Western character, but French gave him heart, comedy, and humanity, making him one of the most enduring and adored recurring characters in the series. He starred in nearly 50 episodes of Little House over the course of several seasons, starting with the pilot. He also directed a few episodes of the show and acted in 3 TV films related to the franchise. Music. French starred as Chief Roy Moore in the sitcom Carter Country after temporarily leaving Little House in 1977 after a contract disagreement. He came back to Little House on the Prairie after the series was cancelled, and he kept entertaining viewers with Mr. Edwards' mix of heartfelt humor and grit. However, French's career after Little House didn't end there. He played Mark Gordon, an ex-cop who became a sympathetic companion to Michael Landon's angelic protagonist character in the faith-based drama Highway to Heaven in 1984. Up to the show's last season, French helped develop the series' positive, morally driven narrative by starring in all 111 episodes and directing a few more. French has a career behind the camera and stage in addition to acting. Together with Leonard Nimoy, he co-founded Angels Theater in Los Angeles. Music. In addition, he directed critically acclaimed plays including 12 Angry Men and taught acting privately. He was awarded a Los Angeles Drama Critics Circle Award for his work. Victor French's life and career were tragically cut short. He was a longtime heavy smoker who passed away at the age of 54 3 months after receiving a lung cancer diagnosis in March 1989. He was still employed in the field at the time of his death.